Hello and welcome to News 9 Facebook Live with me, Adarsh Vepachedu. It goes without saying the coronavirus pandemic has affected us in more ways than one. Now, even if you're one of those fortunate ones who hasn't been infected by the virus, you are facing its impact knowingly or unknowingly. As they say, it's all in the mind. Now, a study conducted by an online mental health platform has thrown light on the myriad of negative emotions that have been heightened among people, especially students, during the lockdown days. Now, if you are a student and if you have felt anxiety, anger, loneliness, you are certainly not alone. The study that was conducted on over 8,000 individuals found that college students were the most affected by the coronavirus pandemic and a subsequent lockdown. The second worst affected group being working professionals. So what does it mean for you and I? How do we overcome these very negative feelings? And does the government have an action plan to deal with the matters of the mind? To discuss some of these pertinent points, we have with us Dr. Iranna, psychiatrist at the renowned Nimhans, Bengaluru, joining live on the broadcast. Many thanks, doctor, for speaking to us. Now, doctor, one may be able to escape the virus, but not the emotional toll it takes on a person. Let's first talk about the students. An increase in emotions of anger, irritability, loneliness and even boredom at the beginning of the restrictions, and a further rise in the emotions as the lockdown continued. What's your reading? Again, being away from friends, college and hangout spots having its own impact, would you say?
Hi others, thanks for having me. So as you said, yes, first things first, before the lockdown, we didn't know. We have seen in the movies, we have seen in the series and stuff, like how this lockdown is, and there are a couple of movies on streaming platforms. We didn't know how to handle it. For not only India, for all over the world, we didn't know. So there was the lockdown which was imposed, and it's almost like taking the freedom away from us, and it is for our own good.
Good.
But for, as you said, the college students, because they have varied interests, like going out, traveling, and hanging around and bakeries or pubs and so on and so forth. They have varied interests, but because of this closed lockdown and seal down and everything, they were unable to go there, and they were staying at home, and they had this kind of patterned living, as in they do stuff in the morning, and they go to the college, and they stay most of the time in the college, and they'll be back after the tuitions or after meeting with friends in the evening, probably late evening. And this was a pattern which was formed over the years. But as the lockdown was imposed, even the parents were at home. They were working from home. Some of them were laid off, and see, there were, even though there were issues in the families or interpersonal issues with the parents or between them or themselves, they were trying to make that things work. But because of the lockdown, there were issues, interpersonal issues, and there were clashes, there were fights, and there were divorces happening when there were couples. And because of the lockdown, the main stressor is the COVID. But along with that, there were a lot of family issues which crept up, and that was the reason. As before the lockdown, there was anger, which you mentioned. There was anger, there were anxiety, and after the lockdown, as in the post unlock 1 and unlock 2 era, there was this sense of loneliness, sense of boredom, because they couldn't do anything in the lockdown, and they were used to that kind of living. So yeah, but it is bound to change in coming days.
Right. Now, Dr. Iranna, cutting to the present, do you see the stress levels further rising at this juncture, especially for the students, given that the JEE NEET exams are a go and are right around the corner? There is the pandemic, there is also poverty, and there's also floods in several states. Very little choice with the students when it comes to giving these exams. Either attend the exam or wait for another year. Your thoughts on that?
See, the government hasn't taken a decision yet, but they have given out the dates. But there are several states which are arguing whether to conduct the exam or not. But yes, there will be a high risk of spreading, because it is a congregation of multiple students from multiple backgrounds and various states, and they'll be sitting at a place, and there will be invariably contact, and even if you follow the rules to the T, but there is a high risk. There are chances. But yeah, it is a very highly controversial to thing to take aside. But if my personal opinion, I think they need to postpone the exams. Perhaps that is my personal opinion as such. But the government will definitely take a decision after considering all the pros and cons of the current situation.
Right, very well put indeed. Now let's now talk about the working professionals, doctor. Some kind of uncertainty, if I were to say it, a feeling of what's next seems to be distressing for the working professionals. There are layoffs, salary cuts, sudden change in lifestyle. Are all of this only adding to the woes, and is it like a bitter pill that they're having to swallow at this point in time?
Yes, Adarsh. The thing is, because of the lockdown, every industry is affected, including the IT industry. So they are laying off. Some people, some of my clients who come to my hospital to say, they say, sir, they didn't even inform. They just sent a mail or they just gave a call and they said, you don't have to come from tomorrow. And people are not even receiving 2 months or 3 months the salary which they receive, and with that they are extremely stressed and they're extremely anxious because they they have dependent people, they have their wives, they have their parents, or they have their children to take care of, and yeah, they are coming into this fix. And even though they have the degree, even though they have experience, people are getting laid off. Well, yeah, but for that, I think the situation will improve. But as of now, it is difficult situation for everybody. Uh, I I don't know. They have to probably wait for a while. Yes, it can burn a hole through their savings, but I think probably if they wait it out for a couple of months, they will get the jobs. But it is a slow process. It is changing.
Now, doctor, up until now we've discussed the root of the problem, if I were to really call that. So my next question is about addressing the issue at hand, and it is two-part. One, how can students and working professionals who are the most affected mentally deal with the kind of situation that they're dealing with right now? And shouldn't there be some sort of counseling? Has the government done enough to address this?
Yes, there are two parts question. So I'll answer part by part. So
Please.
first thing, what should the students and the working professionals in the, be it IT or any kind of profession, do? Well, what they can do is, as there is unlock right now, people are going to work. I think in Karnataka there will be the offline college, the offline classes will start
Yes.
from October 1st, if I'm not wrong. So I think what they should do now is follow an activity schedule, as in other words, follow a daily routine, as in get up in the morning at this time and do online exercise, or see some videos, stream some videos on YouTube or something. Uh, do some exercise at home. Don't go out. At home. Do yoga at home, so that it will calm the physical part of the body, and also it will help relieve some kind of mental stress.
Indeed.
So 1 or 2 hours, and after that they can follow this routine of having food at this time, because in the lockdown they were having erratic, the appetite was erratic, and there were multiple stressors also. As there is unlock, you can follow this strict activity schedule. That is the first thing. Even after doing all that, even though there is a dysfunction, they can definitely seek mental health, mental professional help. But yeah, and the second part of the thing, yes, the government has offered, and it has been advertised for the free counseling programs all over India. Even IPS has organized. IPS, as in Indian Psychiatric Society, has organized. Also, the Karnataka government has organized. And in our hospital, even in Nimhans, I work in People Tree. So we also have a free counseling helpline, which is
And doctor, if
for
I were
people to
to
use.
interrupt you there, how's been the response to these counseling platforms or offers that are being given out? Are people calling in?
Definitely, definitely. There are people calling from different age groups,
Okay.
from the children to the elderly. They are calling, they are seeking help with respect to, definitely, as this is a pandemic, that 70-80% of the calls will be regarding the COVID related anxiety and how
Right.
to handle them. So we are giving out multiple instructions on how to handle like this activity scheduling, or making uh, a proper day schedule, something like that. Or if the anxiety is more, and if we feel over the phone, it is hampering their daily functioning,
Okay.
as in daily social functioning or occupational functioning, or their sleep, or their food habits, or their personal functioning. We are calling them in and offering clinical services as well.
Okay. Okay. So there seems to be some work on that front that is going on. That was Dr. Vineet Iranna speaking to us about the kind of issues, the kind of mental issues that students and working professionals have been facing owing to the lockdown. Many thanks, Doctor, for speaking to us and for throwing light on this very pertinent subject.
Yeah.
So there you have it. During these tough times, yes, Unlock 1.0, and in fact, Unlock has begun across the country. We are looking into the fourth and eventually the fifth phase of Unlock. So yes, while you have Unlock here, it is very important to ensure that there is a semblance of life. There should be enough amount of physical exercise, physical activity, and a session of meditation or yoga is always a thumbs up, is always a go ahead. And ensure that you keep yourself fit and do not let the virus get to your head. With that, it's a wrap on this brief interaction. If you've liked the information that we've shared with you, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to News9 on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Many thanks for joining us.